I was right behind them, and those guys thought it was for them. It was sad. Anyway, forget the royal visit to New York City, to another visit that critics are calling a royal pain. Eric Shawn is outside Mayor Bill de Blasio's Gracie Mansion with the very latest. Eric, what do you got?
Well, O'Neill, it is a summit aimed at protecting illegals who are outside Gracie Mansion, which is the official residence of New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio. The progressive Democrat has gathered various like-minded city chief executives from across the country, about 25, on figuring out ways to deal with President Obama's executive order on immigration. Among the mayors here, the mayors of Los Angeles, Atlanta, Detroit, San Francisco, Buffalo, Seattle, and others. They're trying to come up with a 5-point master plan to deal with those 5 million undocumented residents who will soon get legal status. The mayors want to set up a war room for the expected increase in municipal services, establish ID cards for undocumented residents, as well as scale back cooperation with federal officials who could potentially deport them. The mayors say municipalities are on the front line of the immigration influx.
The president's action is a strong beginning. Again, it will affect millions. It's also a gateway to something much greater, to comprehensive immigration reform, the thing that's been worked on for years and years in this country. The consensus in the room today is that that reform is actually closer because of the president's executive action.
Whether folks arrived in Seattle because they were refugees or whether they're arriving to work in the tech industry that our city is famous for, we need the action the president has taken.
Well, critics say illegals should be arrested and deported, and this comes as the governors of 17 states have sued the Obama administration over that executive order, saying it is illegal and that it encourages illegal behavior and only encourages even more illegal immigration. Neil?
Thank you, Eric Shawn. Appreciate it, my friend. Well, hushed and rushed, time running out for the House to take up that massive $1 trillion spending bill to avoid a government shutdown. To Chief Congressional Correspondent Mike Emanuel on the latest. Michael, what do you got?
Well, hi, Neil. Yeah, the overall funding level is set. The question is, how is it going to be spent? And some members say they're getting very anxious because they want to read the fine print.
There's always something. The easy vote is always no. But I want to pass a budget. I want to keep our government functioning. But I want to know what's in it. I don't think that's asking too much.
The House is back to work at this hour. The package they'll debate is expected to fund almost all the government through next September, but it would only pay for Homeland Security through February. A top Democrat says he's worried about other policy riders that could be included.
I share that concern. We need to fund government. That's a basic responsibility of the Congress. And I think we could pass an omnibus fairly easily if we didn't put riders in, legislative language in, that affects extraneous issues to the appropriations process.
Meanwhile, some conservatives say more should be done now to oppose President Obama's executive action on immigration.
This is a constitutional crisis. If the president is permitted to seize legislative authority, then the very basic architecture of the American Constitution is called into question. So I think that the House needs to assert itself in any way that it can, and that includes through its power of the purse.
The goal is to post language of the bill tonight. It could potentially slip until tomorrow. People I've talked to say that would not be the end of the world, but of course our government is due to run out of money late night, Thursday night. Neil?
Details. Mike Emanuel, thank you very much. All right, to Republican Arizona Congressman David Schweikert on the phone with us now on weather. We are about to see haste making way. So very good to have you, sir. The argument that conservatives espouse against rushing a deal, maybe like yourself, is that you cede to the Democrats a budget that would take you through pretty much the chunk of 2015, which is half the next Congress. And you guys won.
Oh, very much so. But also within that is the comment, the devil is in the details. There's already been 7 of the individual appropriations bills that have moved through the House. Within those, there's a number of policy riders that were voted on, done as amendments. We're all waiting with bated breath for this evening when we see the publication of the bill itself. Did the policy riders we worked on for the last year, will they be intact in this legislation?
Here's what I don't know. and you know the process better, but why can't you, recognizing the reality that you're going to have a whole new Senate, why not do something temporary to get you maybe for the next couple of months? Let the new Senate with the new House tackle these issues with the president in an orderly way rather than cede any ground that will forever change or at least fix and etch in stone a budget that will be almost entirely likely to Democrats' liking.
Look, you're hitting one of the key arguments we're having right now. Is do you just move forward with a continuing resolution, keep doing what we've been doing, or at least move part of it to sort of the normal appropriations process? This is anything but normal if we move it forward and much of the policy we've worked on over the last year
but Congressman,
is removed.
Isn't the president or top Democrat saying it's our way or the highway? It's all together or none?
Oh, very much so. And think of sort of the game that's being played here is for many of us, we have great concerns that the president has moved into absolutely unconstitutional territory. So as we start to use our levers on spending on that, we all of a sudden now...
I think we just broke up with that feed. I apologize for that. But just to remind you, that is the big issue that's coming up here. I'll just leave it at that. And Rush Limbaugh and others have espoused this, whether you agree or disagree with him, that Republicans won big in this midterm. They gained a lot of seats in the House. They're going to be running the Senate at a 54 to 46 margin if you include the two Democratic voting independents. They've got healthy majorities, and yet they would be seating in a lame duck Congress spending that would take about the first half of that Congress. That doesn't seem right, doesn't seem balanced, doesn't seem fair to the will of the people. We shall see. In the meantime, to the Rolling Stone after this.